Freeze! That's what the police told me after I escaped their clutches again. They can't tell me not to give homeless people pickaxes and Adderall and tell them that there's gold under the roads the government built. Anyway, if you couldn't guess already, this video is all about dinosaurs that are frozen in time and are slowly being unfrozen. We're going to be covering the Primal, Stun, Bleed, and Ancient Wrath mechanics, but first, let's dive into what uses these mechanics. As much as I want to say I've got some deep lore planned, I don't. These dinosaurs once roamed the world freely alongside massive disturbing creatures, also known as Australian wildlife, as well as the humans, for the longest time. The dinosaurs dominated with their massive sizes and unmatched power, but then the humans found magic and the tables turned. The humans began wiping each other out with tactics so brutal even the dinosaurs said it was messed up. This forced the dinosaurs away from the mainlands and onto the outskirts of civilization, where because of reckless casting, many were put into glaciers or encased in amber. Many believed that the dinosaurs would stay inside of their glacial and amber prisons indefinitely, but after the Cursed Kingdom was fully formed, a large wave of dark energy encased the world, cracking the prisons and eventually letting the dinosaurs escape and run rampant again. And now that we've covered the epic story, let's get into their epic mechanics. First up, Primal. This makes you immune to stuns. Second up, Stun. This makes you unable to attack or defend for the turn. Third up, Bleed. If a unit with Bleed hits another unit in combat, the attacked unit takes damage. And finally, Ancient Wrath. If a unit with Ancient Wrath participates and survives combat, they get something. Now that we've covered the most intricate part of the Primal archetype, let's dive into their units. First up, we've got their minions. These guys aren't really minions because they are 3+ costs, but they are the cheapest units this archetype has. You can see that they've got high stats. One of them has Thorn 1s, meaning that they deal 1 damage to whatever attacks it, and the other has Bleed 1. Overall, the Thornoraptor and Pyrosaurus are solid units and are pretty cool, yeah. Second up, we've got their mids. These guys are more expensive than your typical mids and have a few more primal mechanics on them. First up, we've got the Celerostius. It's got a whole bunch of health and gets damage with Ancient Wrath. That's about all. Next up, we've got the Luminodocious. It's got Bleed, it's primal, and it's an absolute tank. And third up, they're Masters. These guys are real expensive and pack some serious punch. First up, representing the bosses is the Cryptosaurus. He's got Hustle, is primal in combat, and has a serious Bleed. Lore-wise, it's a massive dinosaur that was freed from its glacial prison and was sold on NFT. They lost all their money and are desperately trying to convince themselves and others that NFTs are still valuable so they can make back their money. Next up is Galliominus. This bad boy hits like a truck and is built like a tank. He doesn't have Bleed, but he's got a wicked Ancient Wrath effect. Lore-wise, it's a giant dinosaur that was freed. Next, let's wrap up this ancient episode with a stat analysis. As you could probably imagine, effects are not their greatest asset, mainly because they don't have a whole lot, and they just aren't that good. They also don't care about countering, they're extremely aggressive, and they don't really have any defense in the slightest at all, but their health totals are extremely high, so, you know, they are kind of defensive. Their power budget is also a little strange. They're off the graph in terms of power and have pretty much nothing everywhere else. Overall, putting them in one spot is tough, but I think I'll put them here. They are kind of difficult because they don't have much effect, so their gameplay is pretty easy to counter, but if you can get them to attack successfully, there's very little that can stand against them. And in terms of how fast they want to end the game, it really depends. Sometimes you can end quickly, but they all have high costs, so putting them smack dab in the middle seems fair. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. Thanks for watching, drop a like, your credit card numbers, that's a joke, and a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Later!